Examining bail reform. The report found Shelby County bond amounts have increased while the percentage of reduced charges has actually declined.
So joining us today to talk about this report and other topics is Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy. Welcome back. Glad to have you with us again.
Glad to be here.
Well, one of the key findings in that report was that there is a need for better data. What do you think needs to change when it comes to data in the criminal justice system, and explain why that's important?
Well, you need data so that you can better measure outcomes. I'm a big believer that if you want to improve something, you need to measure it.
Right.
One of the things we need to do is we need to do a better job of sharing data among the various criminal justice agency partners. So law enforcement, our office, the PD's office, the clerk's office, the judges, TBI. We all really need to do a better job of seamlessly sharing our data and then putting it out there so we can be transparent to the public,
right,
but also doing a better job of using it internally so that we can improve performance.
Well, you recently released some recommendations to try and speed up cases and reduce delays.
Yes.
How would a crime lab here help us with our forensic capabilities?
Well, the Comptroller's report identified one of the significant causes of delay in our criminal justice system was waiting for lab results to come back. Now, I'm not throwing shade at TBI. They have made improvements in decreasing the turnaround time for sex crime-related DNA testing, but there are all other types of testing that still take too long and things that we can do to speed things along. If we had a local crime lab, we would increase our clearance rate, our solve rate, which would go a long way towards helping reduce crime,
right,
and would also alleviate some of those delays and help justice be speedier.
Okay. Last month, the University of Memphis's Center for Community Research and Evaluation released a report about the Shelby County bail system. And there are concerns that bail reform would lead to more repeat offending, but this report found no statistically significant increase. So then, how has bail reform helped stop that?
Well, so this is really interesting, and we need to make sure we get the takeaway here. Critics of bail reform said, oh, it was going to mean that we were going to be letting out all kinds of violent offenders, and bail amounts would plummet, and the percentage of people who were let out without any bail would rise, and et cetera, et cetera. None of that has happened. As you pointed out, the percentage of people who repeat offend while out on bail hasn't gone up. Repeat offenders generally hasn't gone up, and crime has gone down during this period. So I think one takeaway is that it gives the lie to all the critics of bail reform. Now, I don't know exactly what the causal relationship is, but I do know that it hasn't caused the harms that have been promoted or suggested. They also took a look at the effect of two recent bail laws, get tough on bail laws, and basically they had no significant impact. Their impact was either not measurable or negligible. So the getting tough doesn't necessarily help, and the reform doesn't necessarily hurt, and in this case, actually didn't hurt.
Right.
Well, the legislature right now is increasing penalties on shoplifting,
yes,
retail crime. This has been a big issue in recent years in our community.
Yes.
How will this help curb violence here in Shelby County?
Well, it gives the prosecutor another tool in their toolbox, right? So organized retail theft, where you have these organized rings of people doing violent smash and grab business burglaries. We had a rash of that in 2023. We partnered with MPD in Operation Broken Bottles, broke the back of one of those organized crime retail rings, got over 32 indictments. So enforcement can help, but sometimes you need extra tools in the toolbox. Now, I'm not somebody who always says, always the answer is longer sentences, but this law does say if it is organized retail theft, then there's an option for the prosecutor to bring a little bit more heat.
Okay. I'm sure you're aware that Tennessee State Senator Brent that he's leading a campaign that calls for your removal from office. There are even yard signs now calling for your removal. You said you will continue to focus on doing work to make Shelby County safer. What do you say to claims that you've undermined the state attorney general?
Well, first of all, take a look at all those outside reports. We haven't talked about the U of M report on bail, but that basically has confirmed everything that I've said about the bail system. The Comptroller report did not criticize me. We had a Comptroller audit that gave us a clean bill of health financially, and so far all of the ethics charges that Senator Taylor has filed against me have been dismissed, that they have decided, right? So there are all these outside entities that are basically saying there's no merit to Senator Taylor's charges. I think the fact that he pivoted now to this non-binding resolution about the Supreme Court or whatever it is he's talking about, basically illustrates the fact that he doesn't have the vote in the legislature to do what he wants. I have a great working relationship with the Attorney General. We did have a difference of opinion about the constitutionality of one particular law, but that has been resolved. I work with the Attorney General on a friendly basis, on an ongoing basis all the time. So there's just nothing there.
All right, you're wearing a Star Trek tie
Yes.
for a specific reason today.
Yes.
And that is because this Sunday, isn't it?
Yes.
On April 13th from 11 a.m. until 5 o'clock at Neil's Music Room, 5727, you're helping to host Shelby County Star Trek Day.
Indeed.
As a fundraiser.
Yes.
It's a great event that brings some notables together from the world of Star Trek, and also it helps raise money for a charity that's close to your heart.
And it's his birthday.
Oh, well, how about that?
Yes. My birthday and Star Trek Day in the same week. I don't know how I'm going to survive. Yes, so my own father died of pancreatic cancer. These particular Star Trek celebrities that'll be zooming in for a live Q&A this Sunday at Neil's on Quince as part of Shelby County Star Trek Day also care passionately. They have an organization called Star Trek Against Pancreatic Cancer. So not only are we having a little mini Star Trek convention, and they'll be zooming in for a live Q&A, but they will also be raising awareness about this charity, and we will be actively raising funds to help out so that Memphis can be against pancreatic cancer as well.
So there's food, music, and a lot of Star Trek knowledge.
Oh,
right?
I'll tell you, you can drink Klingon blood wine and Romulan ale. You can eat fried tribble. We're going to have a trivia contest, costume contest, and big stars. The guy that played Will Riker from The Next Generation and the guy that played Quark from Deep Space Nine are both zooming in for a live Q&A.
Nice.
Anything you want. You'll get to see me in a Star Trek uniform.
Oh, boy.
And it's all for the incredibly low price of $0. So come on by.
All right.
Good deal.
What I want to know is, will you be speaking in Klingon, though? All right. Thank you so much, Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy, for joining us today. Really appreciate it.